I'm allowing, there we go. Hello, hello. We are going live. I'm just checking Facebook. So I'm not hearing it twice. I don't need to hear my own voice whilst I'm talking. At least not twice. I can hear my own voice once and don't have another thing going on. There we go. So self-love. It is just so funny, Raja. I was waiting until we're going live to tell you this, but I was just watching a video about self-love. So
yeah, okay.
it is, yeah, it seems to be it seems to be something, because what I've been observing today, I can place into the message as well when after I read it. So I just start with reading the message for everyone, because it's about self-love, and we have to learn to love ourselves, and we have to speak out of that place as well and act out of that place, and things will change instantaneous. So self-love is the only solution. August 27th, 2023, this is today. Self-love is the only solution. You might believe that the difficulties you imagine, that are before you are problems you are experiencing in your life and world. They're opportunities for you to practice the most valuable asset you possess, which is self-love. It never matters what you have done in your past or what you have yet to do, because it only matters what you choose to do in this moment of now. We gave you a message on this date in 2012 that as you apply it to your life and world now, you will be more motivated to practice self-love actively. I really hope that people take this in, because, right, self-love is nothing bad. Self-love has nothing to do with being a narcissist or selfish, or sometimes it's very good to love yourself, because you learn to take care of everything you do, the words you speak, the things you do, the way you act, the way you behave, the way you think of others. Has to do with a whole bunch of things that all comes back to self-love, right? Being good with who you are. So August 27th in 2012, right, Roger channeled and Wilhelm said, anything that shows up in your physical life experience that you perceive to be a problem only does so to help you. While that might seem like a contradictory statement to you, in fact, it is always true. You would not need to seek to expand without some motivation continually. All problems also hold the solutions, and your job is to allow the solution to come to you. The operative word here is allow. When you begin to fight against the problem, so to speak, you are also affirming its authenticity, and you begin to believe it is real and no solution is available. When you accept that stance, it will be your reality. Seek to allow problems to be mere challenges for you. Wilhelm. Yes, guys. Yes, yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
let's talk about it in terms of energy, because this is what we're all supposed to understand now. When we're talking about self-love, it's about what are we putting on ourselves? What are we thinking about ourselves? What energy are we giving to ourselves, even if we've made a mistake or we screwed something up or we didn't know something? And at this particular time in the world, we're moving through a generational change, which is what all this work was about, is to cause us to up-level our consciousness, our awareness. And the reason that this message came out for me, or for many people today, is because we had incidents here in the US yesterday that would make people think, oh, oh, wait a minute, everything's falling apart. No, that means that we're supposed to go inside and then find out, well, what can I do to cause more love in the world? And that's always within me. It's always within the individual, and it's about how we choose to think of ourselves, how we choose to think of others. And it was just what you said just before, the actions and the thoughts that we choose to hold. That's the energetic contribution. As we begin to understand how we form our lives and world is through energy, we'll start to do something different. But right now we're moving through a generational change, and all the old ugly stuff is coming up for us to release it. And so that is the solution, which is always self-love.
Takes excuse me, it takes distance to the thing that happens, right? If people are attached to the thing that we call problem, right? At the moment you're attached to the problem and you're worried about anything, like you're automatically not you, or you're in the negative, which doesn't allows you to focus on the solution. And the solution has to do with self-love. Because why should I feel like shit just because something external of me happens? Yes, it is horrible. Yes, we're living in a world that is crazy. Yes, mad things are happening a lot, right? And we've been shown those things in the media. We see it in conversations that we observe, right? We go on the street and we can observe all sorts of things going on, right? Even how people treat each other on the street, how people look at you, how people make you feel, right? The words that other people speak to you. But like when other people speak to you, why do you care? Or why do you let your happiness be distorted just because someone else is calling you something? So this has to do with the energetic frequency of that person, but this has nothing to do with you. And the perspective of another person is merely a perspective of another person, and you don't know what this person is motivated by or through, right? Or who is speaking there. So the moment that you learn to love yourself, the moment that you are honest and integrity and authentic yourself, right? That means you have to sit down and ask yourself, who am I, right? Why am I here? Like, why are you on this planet at this time? Why are you watching this video? Why are you listening to my voice right now? Have you ever questioned the moment? Like, and what are you intending to receive right now? What are you intending to manifest right now through your specific frequency? So we're manifesting 24/7. All the time we do manifest something depending on this present moment in time, how you feel, right? What you do and what you do with it, right? Where do you direct your energy towards? What actions do you take? What thoughts do you send out? And how do you feel whilst you're doing this? What do you intend with your actions? And this is something that I want to have people really I want to make people more aware of their actions and the way they feel when they speak, the way they feel when they go to work in the morning, right? The way they feel when they're sitting on the dinner table and having their meal with the family. Like, how does it make you feel? Like, and yeah, really look at your intentions.
I'll give you something else because I didn't, when I'm receiving information in the mornings, there's so much that comes through. I don't always write it, but there's another aspect of this that we were meant to pay attention to now. We had fires in Hawaii here, in the US basically, but we had fires that destroyed things for centuries. I mean, that had existed. And we're looking at that and we're thinking, this is really destructive. And so then Mark Wilhelm said, okay, remember the Hawaiian practice, the mantra, and if everyone were to use it right now, it would make a huge difference because we're rebuilding something. This was the entire thing. What this process is that we're moving through in the world is building a new world. And that Hawaiian practice, Ho'oponopono, was thank you, I love you, please forgive me. It's just understanding that we don't understand things. And so we keep making judgments about ourselves. And so that practice is saying, Thank you. So means anything that shows up means it's for our good when we start to interpret it in a new way, and it's to cause us to change. And then please forgive me, that means I didn't understand. We only understand things typically in hindsight. Wilhelm uses that so much. We can look back and, of course, understand things then. But what can we put in to the ourselves and the world now because we have that understanding? And so I love you is the same thing as thanking the universe, thanking Gaia, whoever, for giving us all of this so that we could create ourselves new and also contribute to our world and create something new. That's where we are.
Yes. You know, I still haven't had breakfast. It's like 5:15. Just came and basically just came in. I played soccer, right? And I'm just seeing how right we played. We've been in front 1-0, and then the last 10 minutes they got 2 balls in, so we lost. Or what means we lost, but it was 1-2, right? And the lack of self-awareness is right, what people say, how people act, the way they treat each other, the words that they send other people's ways, and like being nasty and being unhappy and like and I'm standing there and I'm like, saying hello to everyone after the game. They're like, oh, it's scheiße, huh? Or like shit, hey? And I'm like, I just say it to them like numbers, 2 numbers, they don't change my internal state. Like I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm growing. I'm on my mission. Like you, right? Ain't no one say anything. I'm happy. Just because there are 2 goals coming in, like there's a reason for it. So let's find the reason, right? And let's see what we can learn out of it. Which is lack of concentration. This is lack of like they have no self-control, or some of them, right? So and those things, they play then into the game. If you start complaining about things that you don't have to, if you just see the negative, like you forget about the positive. Like guys, it is really insane to observe, and I'm very mindful in how much time I do spend in those surroundings as well, because I don't need to hear this. Like
The,
the conversations do not lead anywhere.
the process of awakening is when we come to understand our eternal connection to source, to come to remember who we are. Then when we remember that, we start operating in a completely new way in our lives. And then we appreciate what that message said, that the most powerful thing we possess is self-love, because love is the most powerful energy. So no matter what we're experiencing in our lives or seeing in the world, if we start to go back to that energy, we transcend it. This
Yeah.
entire period that we're all moving through, which Wilhelm is called a restructuring, is to help us move beyond these lower vibrational things that have been within us and been within our society, so that we can create something new. And that's where we are. And this is also the reason for the channeling session on Wednesday, because it's a full moon coming and we'll have more energies and things in our world. And we need to understand that it's a great opportunity, because if we decide to, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to love myself now, I'm going to feel really good, I'm going to create. The other thing too, becoming at this particular time, for any individual to decide to create their lives in a way that brings abundance, that brings prosperity, it's going to be the biggest contribution that they can make to themselves, but also to the world. And everyone has the ability to do that. That's where we are.
Yes. It's interesting how everything comes back to the self.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, just like if you learn to align your thoughts
Mhm.
and your actions. Man, you're winning. No matter what you do, you win, right? You can't lose anything if you do that. Because this is also really practicing self-love, because to do what
Right.
you think of doing, right? This gives you a whole nother sense of self-worth and
Back to
confidence.
that, the Ho'oponopono, please forgive me. That's probably the most important phrase in that mantra, because I like to use it. I use it as a mantra because you just repeat it over and over again. Because please forgive me means I just didn't understand before. You see, that's a different energy rather than beating ourselves up, because I will typically go into regret. Why didn't I know this before? Why didn't I understand? We don't, that's not how our consciousness evolves. It's not how we awaken individually or as a society or a civilization. It's a bit at a time, and we do it over linear time, which is why Wilhelm keeps laying out the messages,
This is again
that
it,
way.
right? Like
Mhm.
I'm jumping in there right now because I want to have people understand. Like for me, I don't need to ask anyone for forgiveness. In my reality, like the only one that I have to forgive is myself for placing myself into situations, because I'm pure-hearted. I mean it honest. I want to create heaven on earth, right? I'm really doing my best here. Like this is what I feel, but this is the actions that I take. This is the words that I speak, and this is how I think about myself. So it doesn't mean that you, if you listen to this right now, have the same state or come from the same perspective as I do. But for me, it all starts with the self. Can you forgive yourself for what you've done to others? Can you look into the mirror and actually say, oh, wow, today I did my best, right? And it all starts with you. Like asking for an external force for forgiveness is something, you can ask for forgiveness. Is okay, I do understand that. And it's a powerful thing to do so if it comes from the right place. Not because you're sorry for yourself, not because of anything negative, and we have to be very mindful with what intention we do ask for forgiveness. You've been forgiven, but you have to learn to forgive yourself as well.
Well, in this particular practice that I'm referring to, which I want others to understand, because a lot of people are moving through, and especially those who have been doing certain kinds of work or spiritual work or whatever, they're thinking, why didn't I know this? Why did we don't know necessarily? And it's a process. It's an evolution is a process. So when we discover things that we have done, maybe things that we didn't understand before, and our tendency is to judge ourselves, is to remember, wait a minute, I can forgive myself because I just didn't understand what the universe had planned for me. I didn't understand the role that was laid out for me. And so now I'm accepting that. It's a very different energy. And then when we put that into ourselves and into the world, we can cause a collective awakening, which is what's occurring now. So that's what this period is about.
Yes, then again, right? Just because we see a piece of shit, or like we see some shit laying on the ground because of, I don't know, a dog or maybe some other human left it there. We don't need to place another piece of shit on it, right?
And we
It
can
means
pick it
if
up.
if someone shit on you verbally, if someone attacks you verbally, like just because there's one time shit around, you don't have to place another piece of shit on top of it. And
Okay.
like we have to learn to be kind. We have to learn to know that just because other people can't behave, like we can behave, right? We can actually learn to love ourselves, to control ourselves, and therefore we see everything happens just for our favor because we keep vibrating on the highest frequency, which is love. And if you vibrate on that frequency of love, you get anything that you want. Like you literally get anything that you want, and you see it happening in daily life through simple synchronicities. Start seeing numbers, meeting the right people at the right time, having beautiful conversations about things that you thought, oh wow, someone understands me. Yeah.
And I'm going to, and it's going to, and it's particularly, I want people, us all, we are all affected by the energy and the energies of our planets and everything that is moving currently. And so, and we're moving through a period of Mercury in retrograde, and we just understand it's about communication. We have things that are not making sense or we don't understand for this period. However, I look at it as a time for introspection. It's a time for us to go inside and go, okay, what can I do now? What can I bring to the world? How can I improve my life? How can I own more of
Mm-hmm.
who I am? That's the
Mm-hmm.
self-love. And we bring that energy, especially during this period, which is going to go on for another few weeks, basically. But if we do that, then we start to see differences in our lives and then differences in the world. This time, and in any of the Wilhelm messages have said this, we're creating something that's going to manifest later. We're always doing that, but we can only create anything in the moment, in the now. And so this now is the best thing for us to do, is just to practice that self-love. And so that's what I'm going to do today.
This is what we're gonna do today, and
Yes.
I'm going to do this with having some breakfast, and with going
And
to the
I want,
gym.
okay, you just have you when you have it, just please just be so
Mm-hmm.
grateful and give it
Yeah,
gratitude and just
I
yeah.
am. I learned that. I really learned that after like 2 years ago, the car crash changed my life, bro. Really, I learned to
Mhm.
sit down before I started waking up, and I said thank you to the sun for giving me light, for giving me warmth, for letting me
Mhm.
feel the beautiful sensations on my skin. Started sitting down with the food. I started taking time to cook, to prepare, to honor the food, to sit with it, and to close my eyes and to just connect with the food and being grateful, even for the people who had to do with letting the food be on my table. How many people touched that food before, man? Like, right? There's so much involved in this whole thing, and
Right.
then the energy that it gives me, that it allows me to do, to feel great. Like, let food be your medicine. Really, let food be your medicine. Hmm.
I'll I'll leave you with Oprah. You wouldn't have seen this. You're too young to have even known this,
Bro,
but
I'm going to, I'm going to have a show that's, it's gonna be, I want to say like Oprah.
yeah.
And
Good.
I've just had this vision
Well, there's an
where I'm
opening
going to
for
do
you
that.
because she's not doing it. So there's an opening for you. You're supposed to take over. But anyway, what she used to do, and I
Yes.
didn't understand it, she would always talk about her gratitude journal. I go,
Mm-hmm.
what? Why? She was talking about energy. No, people didn't understand what she was saying. And especially when she was talking about it, not everyone, why is she going there? She was
Okay,
understanding.
universe.
Yes, she understood
Okay,
energy.
universe.
Now
Let's
she's a
go.
billionaire. That's
Yes.
what
You
happens.
know, universe, let's use let's use that energy, universe.
Hmm?
Let's help us to create something like that for the new world, right?
Yes.
And setting that intention out there and knowing that it's ours. So yeah, just vibrate high, wish from your heart, speak your truth, love yourself, right? Practice self-love, practice to, right, think one thing and do the same. do what not what everything that goes up in here. Like, I don't want to say that, but observe your observe your
Go to
thoughts
your heart.
and then align your actions with the ones that actually, right, let you love yourself even more deeply than you do
Exactly.
already. Yeah. Yeah, because we don't have to own every thought that we have. We don't have to follow through every action that we think of. Because sometimes it's just not for us. But yeah, practicing self-love. This has been a beautiful conversation, Roger Burnley. So
Yeah, thank you. Now I feel better. Okay.
yes, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So I'm going
Great.
off of Facebook. See you in the next one. Just just keep loving yourself, guys. Keep loving yourself and keep joining because life is great. It really
Good.
is.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.